G'day everyone, and welcome back to another episode of YJ Garage. In this one, I'm going to be talking about a car from the greatest Japanese car manufacturer of the 90s, the Honda. Alright, I don't want to get into any debates at the moment, so let's reset. Okay, today I'm talking about the best model from one of the greatest Japanese car manufacturers of the 90s. The Honda Prelude.
What up, dog? Must be me, the bestseller of flagship model incoming. Bro, surely you mean me. Aren't I the disputed greatest front-wheel drive car of the 90s?
Okay, last time for real though. Okay, today I'm talking about the best generation of the most underrated model from one of the greatest Japanese car manufacturers of the 90s, the Honda Prelude 4th generation.
Hey, I was the first successful most. I went back to the roots.
Oh, for crying out loud, cut to the video.
This is my 1993 JDM 4th generation Honda Prelude. Built during Honda's golden era where everything they made was somewhat innovative and always fun to drive, came this forgotten gem. Sandwiched in between the wildly successful 3rd generation Prelude and the last hurrah of the 5th generation Prelude, the 4th gen gets incredibly overlooked. Maybe it was too radically different from its predecessor, with the only design cue similarities being the long hood and short trunk, or perhaps it was the fact that it didn't sell very well in its home country Japan, because of a tax hike due to its increased dimensions and engine size compared to the previous generation. The 4th gen Prelude debuted on September 19th, 1991 in Japan and the rest of the world in 1992, with the final models made in 1996. Approximately 98,627 units were sold. Model names varied around the world, but 3 engines were commonly offered. A single overhead cam engine, the F22, was offered in the base model. A dual overhead cam engine dubbed the H23 with a larger displacement and sportier engine, and finally the H22 with fibre reinforced metal cylinder bores and Honda's VTEC system and a punishing servicing schedule that pretty much all owners decided to ignore. Models with 4-wheel steer now had an electronic version over the previous gen's all-mechanical one. Using the wheel speed sensors, the wheels would change angles to suit low-speed maneuvering tasks like parking and high-speed cornering stability. However, this change also led to the 4-wheel steer system breaking on many of these cars. Like most Hondas, a mild refresh came midway for the Prelude around 1994. A Series 2 of sorts was born. Nostril vents went from having a single line through to 2 for extra speed. The Speedo and Tacho got a big upgrade to the EL gauge cluster behind a smoke screen which matched the instrument cluster. Driver and passenger airbag, a newer center console and the handbrake changed positions slightly, as well as other interior trim updates like the zebra print, a cup holder that was infamous for always having a broken lid. The front indicators went from amber to clear. And if that's not confusing enough, not all the updates were available on all models or in the same year. Why I think the 4th generation Prelude is the greatest. Perhaps I'm a little biased because a lifetime ago I used to have one, or maybe it is the fact that it's so overshadowed by everything else Honda made in that era. It is even considered a black sheep amongst the Preludes. Only one thing is for sure though, there is something special about Honda Preludes, and I'm sure any owners or anyone who's been behind the wheel of one will agree. Now, I mentioned my Prelude was JDM, which means it made its way here as an import from Japan, so this particular model has a few extra items that was not available on the top spec model offered here in Australia. Very cool window visors, a rear wiper, digital climate control, a switch to put the antenna down halfway, a rear woofer, folding side mirrors, but most importantly, the infamous Japanese H22A engine had a whopping 5 more kilowatts at the crank more than the Australian model. So it went from somewhere from 142 kilowatts to 147 kilowatts, or 190 horsepower to 197 horsepower. And the list of JDM coolness doesn't end there. With some models, they came with fog lights, a pole that pops out of the front bumper to assist with parking, traction control was also an option, and even an additional center dash speaker, bringing the total speaker count to a maximum of 9 individual speakers. Leather seats with electronic adjustability, and that's without us even getting into the cooler features found in the Canadian models, like heated seats, heated side mirrors, and even daytime running lights. Or the elusive Mugen version, or the really cool OEM wheels that were available in the United States. This car is literally a JDM collector's dream or nightmare, as most of it is now unobtainium. Unfortunately, like most cars this age, this Prelude has seen its fair share of neglect. It has probably had more owners than my MX-5. Broken antenna, everything in the engine bay is somehow leaking, the car was broken into and both the fender and bonnet were damaged, the sunroof scrapes the roof when closing and probably has rust, the antenna doesn't work, the car has a surging idle, the car is missing a radiator fan, it also only starts 50% of the time, the brakes don't work, the audio system doesn't work, the speedometer doesn't work, the folding side mirror function keeps trying to fold the mirrors after they are already folded, it's missing a whole bunch of parts including the windshield washer nozzles. But hey, I think the 4-wheel still works. Nope, never mind, it's not. And while we could be here for another hour talking about the problems with the car, maybe it is easier to just start working on it. Let me introduce you to Project Pray Lude. No, I'm not joking about that name or this fun fact. It has not been registered since 2014 and has had at least 3 owners in between that time and me taking ownership. It has no paperwork either, apparently that was stolen, so you can confidently conclude only an idiot would buy this car.
You think he's really gonna restore me? Parts are kinda hard to find these days.
I do not know, but how could he not mention me? The greatest 4th gen Prelude ever built. He also didn't mention the chrome handles, the 1-piece or 2-piece headlights, the original center console.
Shh. The 6th gen Prelude's coming. Quick, let's get out of here. The 6th gen's all anyone talks about these days.
I concur. Now for the 3 regular viewers of YJ Garage, you may be wondering, where did my MX-5 go? Don't worry, I didn't blow it up just yet. But I've actually got to put some Ks onto the car for the run-in, so it'll feature in a video when that process is complete. And don't worry, I filmed all the juicy stuff ups, so it's going to be a good one. And my other project, Jazzy Jazzu, yeah, I'll be working on that soon too. If I missed any cool things about the 4th gen Prelude, let me know in the comments. I'm keen to hear your thoughts or why it is or isn't the best Prelude. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe to see more Project Prelude. And if you're interested, don't forget to check out my MX-5 build, link in the description. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.